Who doesn't love watching giant robots smash into giant monsters and beat the crap out of each other? Yeah, the beauty of Pacific Rim is really in that simple concept. In today, we're going to take a look at all these giant monsters from Pacific Rim Uprising, and Pacific Rim the Black, and try and find out which kaiju is really the best and the most powerful. So let's get to it. What's up guys, I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, we'll sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. If you want to, we'll hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. The Precursors are the alien race from another universe that were in charge of creating all the monstrous kaiju in the first place. They're colonizers by nature, hell-bent on consuming entire worlds for their resources, and had their eyes set on the Earth. And so they created the breach and sent kaiju out of it in order to destroy humanity, starting the Kaiju War. Kaiju Boy was created by the Precursors and is the first human kaiju hybrid. At first, he looks just like a normal little boy, except for the fact that he's kinda impressively strong. But then he can transform into a kaiju, growing way bigger, and his strength increases exponentially, to the point where Kaiju Boy is actually strong enough to land some good hits on other kaiju. Mutavore is a class 4 kaiju, and after emerging from the breach, he made his way towards Sydney, Australia. This was literally the day after the country had decommissioned their Jaegers, thinking that the anti-kaiju wall would protect them. And spoiler alert, it didn't. Mutavore broke through that wall within an hour of reaching it, started rampaging through the city. This didn't last too long though, because Striker Eureka was redeployed and managed to take the big guy down. Raiju was one of the kaiju that was protecting the breach from the Jaegers, and is basically a mix between a Galapagos iguana and a crocodile. It attacked Gypsy Danger under the water, tore off one of its arms actually, until Raiju ran headfirst into a sword, basically killing itself. Definitely not the smartest way to go out. The Bone Spur is a powerful kaiju that has a massive upper body and a bioluminescent glow coursing through it, the ever-dangerous Kaiju Blue. It's also able to create spiky bone protrusions out of its palm, strong enough to pierce right through a Jaeger's armor. Skarner was the other guy who was supposed to protect the breach from the Jaegers alongside Raiju. And yeah, it didn't go too well. He did okay starting out, damaging Gypsy and messing up its leg, but then it ended up getting stabbed through the neck and its face burned off. To top it all off, it was taken out by a nuclear blast when Striker Eureka detonated the bomb. And yeah, there's no coming back from that one. Acid Quill is a Category 3 kaiju, and it's absolutely massive, striding around on its large arms kinda like a gorilla. Its legs are basically useless. It's also got 2 long tendrils that come out of its back. These are incredibly dangerous. They're able to pierce right through the Jaeger's armor. Hakuja is basically a giant alligator-looking kaiju, although it also seems to really like to burrow and dig around through the ground. So I guess you could say it's a giant alligator mole, a molligator. It was one of the kaijus that attacked Mega Tokyo and honestly didn't do too hot. It always seemed like it was getting ganged up on or injured in the fight, running away because it was hurt, till it could pop right back up and get hurt again. Yeah, not the best showing. Thorn was one of the 3 kaiju that attacked Mega Tokyo in Pacific Rim Uprising, and it's one of the 3 kaiju that made it through the new breach formed in the movie, and really doesn't do too much in the fight, basically just hanging back and chilling until it helped take down Striker Athena, then merged into the giant Mega Kaiju, but more on him later. Leatherback is kind of like a giant monster kaiju gorilla, except instead of fur and hair, it's just got a big leathery back. Instead of a silverback, it's a leatherback. The monster was one of the ones who helped to take down and tear apart Cherno Alpha and Crimson Typhoon, then takes out Striker Eureka with its giant EMP blast. So, pretty good. Helped to take down and beat 3 different Jaegers. Then he encountered Gypsy Danger, and again did pretty well, at least for a while, because Gypsy then unloaded a full clip into its chest that was more than enough to take it down, but then just had to go over and beyond. Talk about overkill. Knifehead is a Category 3 kaiju that's pretty distinctive. It has a massive blade for a nose, able to easily cut through a Jaeger's armor. It's also the largest Category 3 kaiju that we've ever seen. Knifehead even freaking beat Gypsy Danger, basically the only kaiju to ever do that. Pretty impressive. Like Leatherback, Itachi was one of the largest Category 4 kaiju they'd ever seen up until that point. It can fly with its little hand wings, it's got a nice prehensile tail that's basically either a club or a claw or both, and best of all, it's got a giant sac under its throat that it can use to spit out corrosive acid. Acid that was able to melt right through buildings and even right through Jaegers. Itachi is one of the smarter and more cunning kaiju out there. He's able to take on multiple Jaegers at the same time and sneak around and catch Gypsy Danger by surprise. In fact, I bet Itachi would have beaten Gypsy if they didn't use their giant sword, which I guess they just conveniently forgot about up until that point. Raijin is like a T-Rex with just a really weird head, as it's got basically an inner and an outer head, kind of like a Venus flytrap. Because of that, it's able to hole up when attacks are coming its way, shutting the outer head in order to protect itself. Not only that, but Raijin can actually absorb kinetic energy from attacks coming its way, then use that absorbed energy, either amping itself or redirecting it, sending guys flying. So yeah, Raijin is pretty powerful. Obsidian Fury is an unmanned kaiju Jaeger hybrid created by Shao Industries, but that didn't last too long until the kaiju part took over and turned it into a bad guy, and quite a powerful bad guy at that. Obsidian Fury was built out of obsidian chrome, which is where it gets its name. It was armed with weapons like shoulder-mounted missile launchers and twin plasma chainsaws. That's not all, it's also got guns mounted on its arms, a particle charger mounted on its chest, powerful spikes and claws. While one of the Jaeger's strongest assets are its pilots, Obsidian Fury is essentially operated and piloted by a kaiju, meaning that it's just pure rage and knows nothing but to attack. With weapons like that mentality makes Obsidian Fury an incredibly powerful adversary. Apex is a Jaeger drone that was corrupted and transformed into another kaiju Jaeger hybrid, became extremely powerful. See, for starters, Apex has the ability to open breaches by firing out a beam from its chest. Not just that, but it can also forcefully drift with several people at once, taking control of them and their memories. When it comes to being in a fight, well, Apex is an incredibly powerful fighter and has been able to kill several kaiju and defeat plenty of Jaegers throughout its life, as well as easily hold its own against both Atlas Destroyer and Kaiju Boy at the same time. Slatan was the big bad at the end of Pacific Rim, the Category 5 coming from the other side of the breach, the first Category 5 that people had ever seen. It's one of the most powerful kaiju that anyone's ever fought against, to the point where Guillermo del Toro called it the devil. I mean, Slatan survived the nuclear bomb from Striker Eureka, then it took another nuclear blast from Gypsy Danger in order to put it down. Pretty impressive. Breacher is a Category 6 Kaiju, the only Category 6 Kaiju that we've seen so far. It's one of the largest Kaiju that we've ever seen, and is just an absolute physical juggernaut, basically able to overpower pretty much any Jaeger that it could ever go against. It's also just as tough too. Any attack that you could possibly throw at it, Breacher can for the most part take it. Problem is, Breacher is kinda all muscle and all physical. It's a wrecking ball for sure, but that's all he has at the end of the day. Now tell me, what's better than 1? 3. What's more powerful than 1 Kaiju? Well, 3 Kaiju. And that's what happened when Hakuja, Strike Thorn, and Raijin combined to form the Mega Kaiju. It's able to fight against 3-4 Jaegers at the same time, and it even comes with superpowers. Because the Mega Kaiju is a combination of Strike Thorn and Raijin, well, it's got Strike Thorn's spiked tails and Raijin's ability to redirect kinetic energy, and all these abilities are even more powerful because Mega Kaiju is just inherently more powerful. Yeah, Mega Kaiju is definitely the most powerful Kaiju out there, bar none. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.